What up, y'all? So we about to check out another video from Convo Space. This one is titled "White People Are Surprised to Learn That Black Americans Can Never Trust Them. Reality Hits Hard." The title alone got me interested in just the opinion of white people, because I don't know. I thought they already knew that we felt like we couldn't trust them. So yeah, let's check this out. I'm gonna give my commentary, and hopefully we can learn some about the white perspective.
This is what happened in the 1990s when Jane Elliott asked a white audience this simple, provoking question about race that left them speechless.
If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
Say we got one white fellow in America who has proved that he means right. Let's say we got another one. White people have died in demonstrations for black people. Now, here's the position I'm in. Here's 10,000 whites coming to kill me. And in those 10,000, or let's say here's 10,000 rattlesnakes coming to bite me. And in those 10,000, there was 1,000 that didn't mean no harm. And I knew there was a good 1,000 snakes out there, but they all look alike. Now, what should I do? Should I keep the door open and let the 10,000 in, hoping that the 1,000 will unite and save me and one bite will kill me? Or should I just be safe and shut the door? So we have white people say, I mean right. I have a black husband.
I agree with that, because it's some white people that I care about. I got real relationships with a few white people. I can count them on one hand though. Great relationships with them. And I consider them friends. Like, I got real love for them, but I still have to always consider, know, and understand that they're white, because they're gonna do things that is, to me, that isn't normal. Like, as far as like loyalty and what we do for our friends, or how we may stand by our other friends that are black. I just feel like, to a certain extent, white people draw the line, and they don't care about the injustices that they may witness their black friend going through. They're not going to fight with you to the end. And I feel like that is a major flaw in white people. But the sad part about it is, it's still a flaw in a lot of black people. So it's hard to have that argument.
Oh, my children are black. I love everybody. I really believe you. But I'm sorry, man, there's 10 more thousand behind you that don't feel that way. I'm just sorry, but what am I going to do?
As a white American, when a black American says they don't fully trust me, yeah, I get it. Like, makes perfect sense. Our ancestors enslaved theirs for hundreds of years. And yeah, that's over, but there's still racist people all over the country. Imagine if an alien race came to Earth and just enslaved all of the humans for hundreds of years. How long do you think it would take for us to get over it? Like, how can you put a timetable on that? I just want to know, like, I'm all ears. What can I do?
I don't even know how they expect us to get over anything that still continues. Like, I don't understand why these people think that we don't have stories passed down from our grandparents. Some people knew their great grandparents. Well, my mother knew her grandmother. So it's like, you still get stories passed down from multiple generations. You learn about who you really are. You learn about the things that was taken from your family. And then you grow up watching them hardships, especially for somebody like me that was born in the 80s and lived through the crack epidemic, lived through multiple different wars in this country. Um, and to be somebody in your 40s now, and you still watching all this suffering, and you still trying to do the right thing in a country that already labels you a certain way. It's too much, and it's all because of white people. There's no way around that. And I hate that we live in a nation where these white people are never being held accountable for the pain they cause us, the structures that are put in place that they uphold to hurt us. It's too much. It's too much for me. And I just feel like at some point there's going to be some civil justice, because white Americans are arrogant, liars, thieves, and murderers, and they've never been held accountable. And at some point, there has to be some accountability.
Personally, to fix it, to make it better. Because even though I didn't make those mistakes, I'm willing to do the work that it takes to make it right.
I don't trust white people. I don't trust white people for a multitude of reasons, but one of the main reasons is they're unpredictable. Like, I think about all the times where I really considered white people my friends, and then when we got in a small argument, they released all the racism they hid throughout our whole friendship. Scary. And then I think about the fact that I become mutuals with people, give them the opportunity to come clean about any problematic past. They say nothing, and then they get exposed for being racist. And it's never like some low-key, like I used to say the N-word in songs. No, it's like N-word hard R against black people. Like, tell me why white people are normalizing racist past. Also, I think about the fact that white people have continuously, when given the opportunity, oppressed multiple marginalized communities. And I think about the fact how...
I agree with the things that she's saying, but I don't think she looked in the mirror. I really feel like, look at you. I don't care how you form your sentences. You were looking for proximity to whiteness, and you weren't looking at the mirror at who you are. And I'm sorry, dear. To them, you're a Negro. I don't care how articulate you are. And the minute we realize that, we can move forward with one another. But I don't know why she didn't look in the mirror and see who she was in the mirror before she tried to assimilate with white people.
Easy it is for them to do it again. Like, if they really wanted to, they would bring slavery back. They kind of already did with the criminal justice system. Plus the rate of hate crimes. I will legit always be scared of white people until they're the minority, which I hope will be sooner than I think.
Life, if I learned anything, it's not to trust white people. That's the truth. No, I don't care. Like, that's the truth. No offense. White people will be there for you because it's a trend. But at the end of the day, if it's them or you, they're gonna pick them.
I saw a video of a black woman telling a group of white women that she will never trust them and will always be suspicious without even getting to know them just because they're white.
You know what I expect of white women? Not a damn thing. Nothing. I expect nothing of you because you have never given me anything. I can't trust you.
I want to explain why I am totally okay with that and why you should also be okay with it. As a white person, I have a weapon system that was built right into my skin from the day I was born that I can use against black or brown people whenever I want. And even though I have no intention of doing that, I could. And that's what matters. Let me explain it this way. Imagine that there are two people sitting across from each other at a table, but one of them has a weapon aimed at the other. And this person keeps reassuring the other person saying, trust me, I'm not going to pull the trigger. I know every single other person that's looked like me has pulled the trigger, but I won't. I think anyone choosing to get up and walk away from that table and not take the chance is completely reasonable.
There are many white people who mean right and in heart want to do right. But there are so few. If 10,000 rattlesnakes was coming down that aisle now, and I had a door here I could shut, and in that 10,000, 1,000...
All right, now, how many interviews did Muhammad Ali give this analogy? But he probably had to keep giving it, because white people, still to this day, just don't get it. They get it. I think they're just willfully ignorant because it benefits them, to be honest.
meant right. 1,000 rattlesnakes didn't want to bite me. I knew they were good. Should I let all these rattlesnakes come down, hoping that 1,000 get together and form a shield? Or should I just close the door and stay safe?
Nobody owes us anything. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter how much you learn. Consent doesn't just apply to the physical body. It applies to the mental body, the social body, the emotional body. You can do everything right, and people still get to say no.
So can you can you work with a white person? Because before you said, if I see,
Yes,
like
I
you
can.
said,
I don't
yeah.
trust him though. Of course I can
Yeah,
work with him. I just don't trust him.
if
I
they-
trust you more than
yeah.
any white man on this planet.
Yeah,
I trust you more than any white man on this planet.
yeah,
And I'm never gonna trust nobody but black people.
gotcha.
Black people are perfect, man.
Yeah,
Why you laughing?
Now I agree. It's just extremely hard to trust people outside of my race. But to me, it's equally as hard to trust black people as well. But if I have to make a choice, I'm definitely going to choose the lesser of both evils. And to me, it's always going to be somebody black. Only because I think that I can see the good in the worst of us. And I think that by me understanding that and knowing how to communicate and knowing that I come from the same place as most of us, I would just much rather deal with my people, even if it's the worst of our kind, because there's hope for all of us. I truly believe there's hope for all of us, and the people that's out here doing the most wrong, I just feel like they've lost hope, and I get it, because we live in a hopeless society.
come on, smart. Don't do that.
Why you
now
laughing?
you see what you doing?
I'm asking you.
I know what you doing.
You
what
am I
to
doing?
Point out every little thing. Why you laughing?
Because body language. I'm gonna tell you why. Listen, I gotta tell you because we've been taught. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro.
Yeah.
We've been taught. You know what I call white people? I call them recessives, right?
Yeah.
We are genetically
They
superior
are
than any
recessive,
other
though.
race on this planet. This is a fact. Black people are genetically superior.
Yeah.
Period. But they make it seem like we are inferior.
Yeah.
We are the majority, but they make it seem like we're the minority. He's the minority.
That's
You're the
facts.
majority.
Yeah.
So when I tell you black people are perfect,
Yeah.
that's not a joke.
White people have been the most dangerous people on the planet historically. I said this boogeyman-like stigma that black people are to be feared. Ooh, the boogeyman black man. When historically, white people have been the most dangerous people on the planet historically.
I agree with that, and I promise you, I think about that so much because we get so crucified, and because I'm somebody who's stereotyped in my personal regular life. Like, I'm somebody who literally is always stereotyped, and when I think about the history of this country, and that's why I feel like a lot of us fall short, because when you think about the history of this country, if you know the history of this country, you would know that the most dangerous people to ever walk the earth, not even just this country, are those Caucasians, are the so-called white Americans and their ancestors. To this day, America still is the person running around, the nation that's running around colonizing, stealing, unaliving. And if we notice, it's always black or brown countries that the white colonizers, us, America, feels that they can go destroy, take from, unalive, do whatever they want to. It is still prevalent today. It's still happening today. And it's still all because of the arrogance of white Americans. We are a disgusting nation. And that's just a fact.
In terms of murder, mayhem, and destruction.
Black women have every reason to never trust white women in this country again. I said what I said. To my black women that are my friends, if we follow each other on here, my acquaintances, I'm sorry. You don't ever have a reason to trust white women again. 52% voted against their own best interest over race. You'll never convince me that wasn't why. And I'm sorry. For those of you who wasted your third-party vote, I'm so disgusted and disheartened. You knew that they would never put that third party in office, so you wasted your vote, and it made a difference. It made a difference in the states where he won. So don't ask me for shit.
This is why I say politically we have to be more aware, and that's for those of us in the hood. Like, Once your kid graduates from high school and that kid turns 18 years old, who do you think they're going to talk to about politics? Who do you think they're going to talk to try to understand what's going on in this society and which way that they should lean towards, or who fits their values? They're going to talk to the adults in their life. And if the adults in their life, the people my age, aren't aware themselves, how can we help? How can we make the future better for our kids? How can we make this country better? How can we make our own living situations and environments better when we are running around here acting like we too incompetent to pay attention to the politics that affect us? It's annoying, people. It's annoying. Like, and for me, it's overwhelmingly annoying because it's ruining my life. I'm going to be honest. It's ruining my life. The fact that I have to fight stereotypes of the ignorant Negro, the ignorant nigga, the ignorant ghetto person from Chicago. I got to fight every stereotype while the people who actually living in these stereotypes are just running around doing whatever, not caring about nothing. At some point, we have to get ourselves together as a people, bro. Or else what we going to do? What we going to do? Like, I'm disgusted in us as a people, bro.
This is why people don't trust white people. Because it is peak whiteness and colonizer behavior to demand civility for a man who denies others their humanity. That's the oppressor, and we do not need to sympathize or empathize with them. And don't get me wrong, because I long for a world where there is no violence in it. But until all of us are free, none of us are free, and violence is part of the equation because of the oppressor, not the oppressed. We need to understand that violence comes in many forms, and white people need to learn it most of all. And if none of that is enough to convince you, then how about the fact that Charlie Kirk said empathy is a made-up new age word that does harm, and that is the one directive of his that I am willing to honor.
Reverse racism is white people getting their feelings hurt, because when you're used to being privileged and things become equitable, it feels like you've lost something. That's all that is. White people all up in their feelings because they're no longer privileged. Now they have to share that privilege with everybody else, and it feels like they're being harmed.
You need to have power in order to be racist, and brown, black, indigenous, Asian, Latino people do not have power over white people.
I agree. Talk your shit.
It is not possible.
Not possible.
It's intellectually dishonest, which is a euphemism for a lie. So reverse racism is a lie. It's a white lie.
Saw a post that this white woman put a caption that said, working with black women is working in the trenches. And then she stitched the video with a black woman saying that working in the trenches is working with white women. And she's like, oh, she can say this, but I can't say that.
Yeah. Because it's really working in the trenches when you work, man. I said it all the time, y'all. Being a manager at Wally World and not a supervisor, being a manager at Wally World is the trenches, bro. Them white women are low down, dirty demons, bro. I'm telling you. I used to say it all the time, like, it's worse than the streets up in here, bro. It is worse than the streets. Because I'm going to work, I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to do my job and I'm going to go home and get away from you people. But white people in the workplace, they want your job. They want you to not be able to take care of your kids. They want your whole livelihood ruined if you're just great at your job. If they're intimidated that you're great at your job, or if you just happen to be a confident black person. Like, white women are just dangerous little heathens, man. Little saltine crackers.
Correct. The black woman has every right to call out white women. You know why? Because racism is still alive and well. Black women still experience more oppression than you as a white woman will ever experience. It is not reverse racism. It is not the same thing. Reverse racism, not a thing. White oppression, not a thing. This is where intersectionality comes into play, right? You as a woman could be oppressed, but you as a white person, no, not a thing. However, a black woman experiences duality in that sort of oppression, correct? A woman and a person of color, correct? And truthfully, you proved the black woman's point. If the post wasn't about you, you wouldn't have gotten upset.
When black people in our community talk about not trusting white people, the white people in our community know that as a group, white people ain't trustworthy. So they don't internalize that. Like, oh my God, are they talking about me? Nah, because they feel the same way.
It's the people that don't see it.
Yeah, the not all white people who just would not fit really well. Because if you internalize everything as an individual, that's your privilege. White people are the only people in this country who have the privilege of not being seen as a group. They expect to be seen as an individual.
Now that's a fact. That's a fact. White people get to be seen as individuals, but black people, you just a nigga, and you belong to the whole group of all the other niggas. It don't matter how separate you may be. All the dreadheads fit in one box. All the people with fades and waves fit in one box. All the chicks with wigs fit in one box. All the BBLs fit in one box. Like, it makes no sense how we are truly stereotyped by the way that we look, but we can't do the same to white people when they actually look like the serial unalivers that we keep seeing.
Individual. So when people talk about white people as a group, white people get uncomfortable because they want to be an individual.
Not all white people,
right?
3 things that don't bother me as a white person. Number 1, when a person of color says they don't trust white people, I absolutely understand the sentiment. I'm not offended if you don't immediately trust all white people on account of white people colonizing the world and then setting up a system of slavery and not taking accountability for any of the racism. I think this is a totally valid statement. It doesn't bother me because I don't feel like I contribute to the system in this way. Number 2, when a person of color says they don't date white people. Again, I'm not offended by this because even if the white person that you're seeing is really cool, their parents or their family might be crazy. They might be uber racist or come from a really strange environment and family that, quite frankly, you don't want to be involved with. That doesn't make you feel safe, which makes sense. And number 3, when people of color don't follow white feminist accounts. I understand there's a lot of white feminists who don't talk about intersectionality at all, or queer white feminists who don't talk about intersectionality, which is bizarre because every single struggle is so intimately connected. If any of these things bother you, you are taking this way too personally, and I recommend that you do the work to deconstruct what's going on. Because not everything's about you, and there's a racist system in place that you are probably contributing to. Okay, bye! We talk about how ironic it is that the right demonizes people of color when the only time I feared for my life has been around a white man. I get so many hate comments like these few here. So the time I just write it off as immature, angry men, but the times that I've genuinely been scared that violence was going to be inflicted upon me have been white men. Not to mention...
Check this out. Amar Rahman does a brilliant job of showing the ridiculousness of the idea of reverse racism.
A lot of people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people say this to me. Hey, Amir. Hey. You get on stage. You make your jokes about white people. You say white people this, white people that. What if I did something like that, huh? What if I got on stage and I said, yeah, black people are like this, Muslims are like that. You'd probably call me a racist, wouldn't you? And I say, yeah, I would. Yeah, you should never do that. That's bad for your health. They're like, well, you do that, Amir. You do that. You get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. Don't you think that's a kind of racism? Don't you think that's dun 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 reverse racism? I said no. I don't think that's reverse racism. Not because I think reverse racism doesn't exist, right? If you ask some black and brown people, they'll tell you flat out there is no such thing as reverse racism. I don't agree with that. I think there is such a thing as reverse racism, and I could be a reverse racist if I wanted to. All I would need would be a time machine, right? And what I'd do is I'd get in my time machine, I'd go back in time to before Europe colonized the world, right? And I'd convince the leaders of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Central and South America to invade and colonize Europe, right? Just occupy them, steal their land and resources, set up some kind of like, I don't know, trans-Asian slave trade where we exported white people to work on giant rice plantations in China. Just ruin Europe over the course of a couple of centuries so all their descendants would want to migrate out and live in the places where black and brown people come from. But of course, in that time, I'd make sure I set up systems that privilege black and brown people at every conceivable social, political, and economic opportunity. White people would never have any hope of real self-determination. Just every couple of decades, make up some fake war as an excuse to go and bomb them back to the Stone Age, and say it's for their own good because their culture's inferior, and then, just for kicks, subject white people to colored people's standards of beauty, so they end up hating the color of their own skin, eyes, and hair. if after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of that, I got on stage at a comedy show and said, hey, what's the deal with white people?
You know,
why can't they dance? That would be reverse racism.
That was hilarious.
Ubuntu means white people cannot have Ubuntu. And that means white people are not human.
That is correct. White people cannot have Ubuntu. And that's not...
I don't know what Ubuntu is, but I've been saying this whole time these people are not human. We have to realize that they got that Neanderthal DNA because their ancestors were laying down with animals. These people were so disgusting. They was using the bathroom in the same water they had to drink. They was allowing wild animals to lay with them in their habitats. They were even mating with animals. That's why God had to destroy the world, man. It was too much going on, I feel like. It was just too much going on. But these people truly have animalistic DNA, which means the blood running through their veins is not all human like us. It means these animalistic things that they do are a part of their nature, and there's no way we can ever trust these animals.
Our fault. That's your fault. White people lost their humanity a long time ago. Long before we ever started singing Kill the Boer. Long before they ever set foot on African soil. Do you know what white people were busy doing in Europe? They were killing each other. And this lasted for hundreds of years. Go read up on European history. It's just war after war after war. They only stopped killing each other when they found us. But that was temporary. Because after they were done colonizing us, they started World War I and World War II. They just couldn't resist the urge to kill and destroy. It's part of their heritage. It's their white supremacist culture. They came to Africa with empty hearts and greedy hands. And because our ancestors were guided by Ubuntu, we welcomed these strangers into our home. Our ancestors didn't know they were inviting the devil into their lives. Our people showed them kindness.
That's
We
what
gave
happened to
them
us
food,
here.
shelter, respect. And what did we get in return? Chains, whips, guns, rape, and genocide. Then they wonder why we see them as non-human. No human being would do what they did to another human being. Only a demon could do what white people did to us.
Facts.
Only the devil himself would look into the eyes of a black child and see a slave. You dehumanized us first. You dehumanized us for hundreds of years. White people are experts at dehumanizing anybody that doesn't look like them. And then you wonder why we don't trust you. You don't get to colonize us and steal from us and enslave us and then turn around and get offended when we sing a struggle song like Kill the Boer. This is our song, and we will sing it whenever
Sing
and
y'all
wherever
song,
we
bro.
want.
Sing y'all song, bro.
White people have never done anything for me. Didn't you hear? White people only do shit when it's like for themselves. That's what white people do. No, I never had any help from my own race, especially when some personal issues arise for me and they all just like totally turn their backs on me. I used to be racist. I used to be a Republican. I used to be conservative. So you can imagine my great surprise when Native people came to my aid and they didn't know me a fucking thing. They came to me at my weakest point and helped me when my own people betrayed me, and they didn't ask for anything in return. And you know what this ad?
First of all, white people don't help nobody. And it's so funny when other white people find out that the white people around them ain't no good either. Like, it's the most hilarious thing in the world. They don't have that trait. They don't know what loyalty is. The only thing that defines white people in America is what they have. Because they have no culture except for colonizing, unaliving, graping, stealing. Like, that's white culture. So what else? Like, they're never gonna have any loyalty, not for themselves, not for one. They don't even respect their own children. You see what they do to their kids. Like,
This thing about it is that I never asked for anything other than somebody to listen, understand without judgment, and show some compassion. And my own people couldn't do that. I couldn't be bothered to be fucking doing that. White culture is oppression. And white people, myself included, have a lot to learn. We can start by learning how to fucking share, especially when what we're sharing was something that belonged to somebody else in the first place anyways. I do like that a white man said this, by the way. I'm sure your experience with the white people in this world has been very nice.
wait, let me read this. After Trump, I'm sorry, but I can't trust white people no more. Why? Because I don't know how you thinking. when you smile at me thinking everything is okay.
It's okay, my friend. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. What Trump and his lackeys did set us back. Way back.
Way
Take
back.
whatever time you need. It's okay. I understand. Just know that there are some of us out here that are fighting for you guys, and we will continue to fight. And we understand how you feel. You see, I understand because I wasn't always your ally. I have a past. And in my younger years, I wasn't such a nice person. But I changed. Believe me, I understand. Completely. I'm sending you love and light, my friend.
Why do most black people not trust white people? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it, because you may have heard some black people say, hey, I don't trust white people. Nope. I don't mess with them like that. I don't trust white people. And you may have thought to yourself like, wow, that's racist, right? You may have said that to yourself like, wow, that's really racist. It's not, by the way. It's prejudice. It's not racist. And I've had videos talking about the difference between racism, discrimination, and prejudice. So you can go back and watch those to get some clarity on the differences between those three words. They are not interchangeable. They are not synonymous. So no,
they're not.
Make sure you just educate yourself about that. But anyhow, let's talk about that though, because if a black person is saying, well, I don't really trust white people like that, why would they be saying that? Where is that coming from? I'm going to let you know. I'm going to break it down for you real quick. So pay attention and watch this video all the way to the end. Okay. Now, have you ever been in a relationship, okay, where you're with somebody and they're telling you, I love you, I care about you, I want to be with you, and you find that throughout the relationship, their words are not matching up with their actions? Like, you just said that you love me, you care about me, you want to be with me, but yet you're doing these things that are giving me a completely different message, right? I talk to you about different issues, different behaviors you're engaging in that I don't like, and I ask you, please, let's don't do that. Let's stop that, because that's causing a problem in our relationship. It's causing me not to trust you. So let's stop doing that and do this instead. And you're like, oh, I feel you. I got you. I love you. I care about you. I'm not going to do that anymore. But then you still keep doing it. Saying one thing with your mouth, but you're doing something else every day with your actions, and they're not lining up. And what does that do? It causes a schism, right? It causes division. It causes a lack of trust. And so when you hear black people saying, I don't trust white people, I don't mess with white people like that, it's because there has been a schism. There has been a division, and there has been a breach of the trust. Because what a lot of white folks have done, if we just only look at the past 4 years, forget about history. That's a whole other thing. Just let's look at the past 4 years since 2020. So many self-proclaimed white allies were saying, Black Lives Matter, and yes, for equality and equity and reparations, and we're standing against racial injustice, and we're fighting against white supremacy culture and all this stuff with their mouth, right? Maybe on social media. And then what happened with their actions? Their actions weren't lining up. That's why I'm always telling you, don't talk about it, be about it.
I agree. I completely agree.
And
because the worst thing for me is just a contradiction. If you're gonna say one thing and do another, that immediately cuts you off as being like a friend, a trustworthy person, any of those things. It's immediate.
Let your actions speak for themselves. You don't have to go around telling people, I'm not racist. I may be white, but I'm not racist. What are you talking about? We don't need you to tell us. Show us. Show us. Through your actions. That's how we'll know you're not one of those, right? It's about your actions, not your words. You have to make a decision to become an active part of the solution. Otherwise, you're being a passive part of the problem or an active part of the problem, right? So you can't sit back and be like and say, well, hey, I didn't do anything. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not racist. It ain't me. It's them. It's just those people. No. Doing nothing is a problem, because then you're allowing things to happen around you.
I wish we start holding people accountable too, because I think it's too many black people that's running around just okay with white people not doing anything. They're okay, and it ain't even just white people. We should not be okay with nobody around us that ain't fighting for the greater cause. Especially if you got kids in this world that you're gonna leave in this world, grandkids that you're gonna leave in this world. If you are not fighting for the cause, if you are not fighting to make our environment better, then I don't even understand what are you doing with your life. What is the purpose of your life? What are you getting up every morning and doing if it's not trying to create a better place for all of us?
So even in doing nothing, you're doing something, and that's causing a problem. And that's why black people don't trust you. Because you say, oh yeah, I care about you, I support you, equality, yeah, Black Lives Matter, whatever. Let's just treat everybody equally, and let's just be loving, and let's not talk about what divides us and what separates us, but let's just focus on what brings us together. Well, that requires a certain level of action and a certain type of action from you as a white person when you are the beneficiary of the same systems of oppression, anti-black racism, systemic racism, white supremacy culture that are harming us, that are killing us, that are holding us back, that are oppressing us, that are marginalizing us, that are discriminating against us. But you're saying, hey, I didn't do anything, I'm not doing nothing, hey, it's not me, it's them. That's not helpful. We don't trust you because you're not an active part of the solution, and your words are not aligning with your actions. So it's time for you to do better. You want to build trust with us? You have to do that through your actions, not your words. So where do you start? You start with anti-racism education so that you can learn the things that you've never learned before, that you weren't taught growing up from your family, that you have not been taught in the racist school system, education system in America. You have to educate yourself first. That's where it starts. I want you to join me for my live online masterclass. It's happening this week. How to embody anti-racism in your relationships, your work life, and your daily practices. It's an online masterclass. You can join me live or you can get access to the replay, but you have to register now to get.
Okay. So, I guess we learned a little bit of the white perspective in this video. It was an alright video. I mean, I guess just hearing our so-called allies speak their perspective and kind of try to promote unity amongst white people, I think it's a long road to go. I think that's a start. So we can appreciate our allies, but we do need more, and I think we need to do more as black people. It starts with us, and I just feel like a lot of us aren't focused. So good video. Shout out again to Convo Space for this video, and thanks for checking it out with me, and I'll holler at y'all on the next video, man.